Thank you for tuning into the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Marrocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and interdimensional seer. Together, they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources. Make sure to post your questions and comments below. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today in Disclosures. We're going to have a great show today. We have the members of Unit 374. Not all of them are here, of course, but we're going to have a discussion with Peter and an overview of some of the things that have been happening regarding missions and things that are happening around the world. So without further delay, let's bring in Peter to start. Also, I just want to welcome in Olaf, Michael, and Tyson, who will be joining us.
Yes, so thank you very much for giving me opportunity to be in here. So what are some conclusions and other conclusions, right? It's like a huge puzzle, huge pattern, what absolutely doesn't make any sense in the first place. And now, as times goes on, it's like this is not going well, definitely not. And we've been, in another, I don't know, I don't want to call it reality, call it context of existence. It's better because it's hard to say if it was reality, timeline, or I don't know, dimension, universe, megaverse, or whatever. And as I described, we've got this hive, pineapple shaped hive and whatever. But then it looks, or it, how can I say it, we was able to found that this hive scale, that means scale, like how big or how small it is, that was the problem. It is not like that, perfectly like that. The question is that they've got, and this is it, area 81, not 51, area 81 mirrored from Mars here to on Earth. And thanks to this hive mind, I'm calling it hive mind, I don't know, it's hive, but as I said, pineapple shaped hive. But I'm calling it hive mind because it is self-conscious AI, right? So it's in the first problem, or in the first place. And they got here in 81, area 81, another very weird and dangerous pieces of technology. They can, depending on how complicated it is, how big it is, or how energetic, demanding it is, and within few hours, few days, it's very long for them. It's like, no, it doesn't make any sense for them. But within few hours, some stuff, even within few minutes, they can create it. Literally some sort of materialization. And they've got few, and I'm not kidding, I saw it, few particles, from sand or something like that. Really small stuff. Do you know what I mean? And after this period of time I mentioned, bam, you've got it. Maybe people will say, okay, what the heck is this? The stuff is, this kind of stuff, it's not that kind of complicated, or quotes in quotes, not kind of hot for us. Once we are talking about their reality, because they've got chaos and mayhem, it's like for them chaos, it's normal, not for us. I mean, we've got the problems here, but believe me, it's like, considering, or let's say in comparison with what they've got, we are perfect. Believe me, our reality is absolutely perfect. And we got to some very important piece of intel. During very last few, not days, it was like, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 2 weeks or whatever, they start to use something interesting. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why in the world someone will use something that outdated and that obsolete to use a communication, like two sides communication. I am talking about number stations. What the heck? That was used widely and common, it was used during Cold War. It's outdated. Believe me, they start to do so, and I was like, because I was informed by my colleagues, and I was like, what's going on here? I mean, colleagues from ACIO, of course. And it was quite complicated, and they've got some sort of codes because they eliminated certain patterns. And then we were like, oh crap, this is not gonna end well. Definitely not. Because they simply start to use, in another reality, they start to move here. I don't want to say how, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost sure that through wormhole, special stuff, let's say next generation of weaponry equipment and warfare. And problem is, they start to use very stable warheads on ICBMs. That means intercontinental ballistic missiles. And ICBMs, just by the way, ICBMs like themselves together, because they cannot be from, in our technology, in our quotes unquote world, they cannot be, yeah, we can see it, then they cannot be completely, completed, like, do you know what I'm trying to say, like make them complete for a long time. No, they cannot, because it can make problems. Believe me, it can make problems. But here and there, I mean, what we need to know, the stuff is, it can be stable, I mean super stable, in between 20 and 30 hours. 35-40 hours plus, it's a risk, and 45, 50 hours, bye-bye, end of story, period. You need to immediately launch it or demount it. And then it took quite a time, do you know what I mean, to demount it. And of course, once you want to use it again, few hours to mount it, do you know what I'm trying to say, back, or complete it back. What I'm talking about, according how complicated it is, or what you want to do with it, and all kind of that stuff, which type of warhead you has, it is in between 8, 10, maybe to 20, 25, 200 hours or so, something like that. And they are here, and they just don't do nothing. And my question is, where the hell? Yes, it does. It looks like that. Topolem, yeah. And the question is, where in the world they've got this type of ICBMs in the first place, and warheads in the second place? That's my question. And if it is say so, that means if something like that exists, and believe me, it exists, then what are you doing? Okay, you are just making, okay, you are showing us pictures. Then why the heck in the Pentagon and in Moscow they don't know that something like that exists here? And of course in Beijing, for example, do you know what I mean? Because they've got some of, I mean, I don't want to say some, they've got a lot of stuff like that. In London too, in Paris, because all of those countries got ICBMs, you know. In India too, just by the way, Pakistan too. And that's a question that they are moving them. And another problem, they are not moving them, they are teleporting them, and that's big problem, okay? It's a very big problem.
The history behind these, the history behind this, it looks like it's Werner von Braun is the one that brought this in. He designed them, and we always knew that, you know, they had back engineering technology and information. And there's actually one here, you know, talking about how bad. Look at this aluminum honeycomb structure. We're talking about a hive, right? There was also this right here, NATO reporting the name, calling it Satan #2 because of the devastation, obviously, that it can cause. And also, I've talked about Jericho before. There's quite a bit of information here, and also the Operation Paperclip that people know about. So this is, and you were also talking about information regarding the Cold War too. So this hive reality that we've been talking about for the past couple of months, that you had gone into as a mission, and you started to observe these things and get back to us and try to describe what it was, because there was no other anything that we have here that is related to what you were seeing. So your best description was that it appeared to look like a shape of a pineapple, but its actual function was as a hive mind control system. And so there you were observing.
Please, let me correct you in the first place, and fill in some spaces in the second place.
Okay.
It looked like a hive mind, but it was, if we can say it, like if you have an onion And if you cut it, do you know what I mean? There were plenty of layers inside it. And this was literally, yes, pineapple shave hive mind, but with many layers inside it. Just by the way, sorry for that. I just need to fill this in. Sorry for that.
No, thanks for explaining a little bit further about it. And so I'm just kind of doing an overview for the people that the listeners so they can follow. And if they don't understand what we've been talking about for the past couple of months, they can look at some previous shows. And you're talking about that we are still in danger. So there's still weaponry and people holding on to the red button or the football or whatever you want to call it, that there's still a lot of danger that our reality's in, and that's a reflection of what you were seeing and why Unit 374 was involved. Is that correct?
Yes, you are right, and that's the problem. I don't know.
Is the mission
it's
still
sad.
ongoing? Is would you say the mission's still ongoing?
Yes, but I'm just saying this is so bad. I don't. I. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if we can. Get out of this problem. Because people, do you know what I mean? People, they are fun now, everything is fine, not a big deal. It's like in Spanish speaking countries, fiesta over there, do you know what I mean? In Greece, bouzouki, everything is fine, do you know what I mean? They've got all the time, everything is fine, do you know what I mean? They've got, how can I say it? They are just desperately trying to find reason for celebrate. Do you know what I mean? Party. I'm not saying party, but there is a problem, big problem, and people still don't understand that we've got a problem, like big one. Do you know what I mean? And there is a, let's say, we need to solve this out, like big time, you know. And people like, nah, not a big deal. Everything is fine. No, nothing is fine. And I don't know, to be honest.
Yes, Olaf wants to say something.
I just want to ask Peter, the missions we are involved in as the unit 374. How does it impact our reality? And especially, does it have any impact on the conflict? What's going on in Europe? So what's the outcome here? Is there any, you understand?
This is another stuff, like, if you want to call it that way, you know. People get it, like what is going on with Russian and Ukrainian war and whatever. Believe me, this is not a problem. I mean, yes, of course, it brings quotes in quotes heat into the world and whatever. No, I am about total devastation stuff, okay? Because look, we've got First World War, or World War One, if you want to call it that way. But at that time, it was like World War, because of course, there was no Second World War, you know. Then we've got World War Two. But if you got all over the internet, none, believe me, none of military officers, they are not talking about World War III. They are talking about total war. That means whoever will start this, whoever, it will change everything. Everything, right? There will be new type of warfare, and from my point of view, conventional, because this is literally quote unquote conventional, like nuke bomb or hydrogen bomb, H bombs. No, I think they will be spreading not chemical or biological, biochemical warfare, I think. So it will explode, and it will be, let's say, small nuclear explosion. Yes, it will be, but the main reason will be to spread wide, very wide, biochemical warfare. And as we know, Umbrella have got hundreds of variety of types of biochemical warfare. So we can only guess what will be their option. Sorry, what will they choose? Maybe few of them, maybe dozens of them, in order just to test. I'm just saying.
You were bringing up earlier about how there is this bubble reality, and they were spraying some kind of chemtrails by plane on an AC-30.
Please, please, let me correct you, please. This is not bubble reality. This is happening right here, right now. I'm not kidding you.
But you said it's part of the bubble reality is.
Give me a second. We in ACIO believe it is part of bubble reality. Problem is
where they're coming from. Where they're coming from is a bubble reality.
Yes. Yes. Then yeah, you are right. Yeah.
And that was related to starting the Hurricane Ian in Florida.
Yep, exactly. You got it.
And I mentioned that I saw an all-terrain vehicle going up in the snow, but it looked like snow, and it was pretty much almost doing like an 80 degree angle. I mean, it was really high, and I thought we were going to slide backwards, but the vehicle was able to grip the snow and go up. And you said I was somehow involved in or captured or pulled into that bubble reality.
Yeah, you are right. But
and
pretty much they are doing it, but they are doing it this bubble-ish stuff. Like once they want to extract someone from total different, I don't know how can I say it, total different way of existence or reality to another one, and they need to be quotes and quotes 100%, not 1000%, sure that nothing will go wrong, and they need to use wormhole. The problem is wormhole is kind of very tricky to use sometimes. So they simply created this gel bubble. It looks like a gel, very weird stuff. And then they will extract something, and you know what I mean. They are safe to do so.
Is anyone else on the team there in the bubble reality, operating as
give me a second, but they only extracted not you, but portion of you. That's the problem.
Yeah, was there anyone else on the team affected by this?
Nope.
Okay.
And they they are saying a lot of nonsenses about you, just by the way.
So this is the shadow group, right? This
Yes,
shadow
they
group.
are saying a lot of nonsenses about you, that you are faking things about how you are calling them astral beings. Yes, because they believe. I'm not saying that they are faking things or saying nonsenses, but let's say they don't believe that astral beings really exist on one hand, or they don't believe that they can express, or how can I say it, incarnate in certain reality on the other hand. So either this or that, and they were just making fun from that. And he was like, don't do this crap, it is crap. And they've got this, it looks like a disc. It was, I don't know, somewhere in between 4 or 5 inches in diameter, and it was like 1/4 inch thick. And they've got it, just by the way, Dekhachov got it. He pulled it out from his pocket. And he was like, no, don't use this is bad and whatever. And they just, do you remember certain people made fun from you? They just don't believe that, do you know what I mean, astral beings and whatever. And then this happened. They've got a needle. It was very weird. And they just put this disc on the needle, and they just and this disc start to rotate. And he was like, I warned you. And they tried to guess who showed. Ravana. Holy crap. And he, or it is he or she, I don't know.
It's
Ravana
a
is,
he. Yeah, it's a he.
yeah, and he was raging and doing, he was, bashing with fists and whatever. It was so crazy. And they were scared to death. And he was like, I warned you. But that was weird, because actually he absolutely didn't care about it, like nothing. And that was maybe you knew that he exists, and you respected him, or I don't know, how can I, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think you're talking. You might be talking about Shiva, because I don't necessarily respect Ravana.
Not respect, but I am saying, like, not, how can I say,
I know
not
that
respect,
Ravana
but
is like a big
say
demon.
you know that he exists, and you will not, you were not making fun from that. Do you know what I
No.
mean? And
No, I wouldn't make fun.
they were making fun from that. That none of this exists. They are just legends. It's all bullshit and whatever. And it was like, don't try to piss those guys off. They are dangerous. And then this disc, it looks like a needle. Okay, it looks like a needle. I don't know how, but they could show that. They could show did that. They put the needle to the at the desk, and he somehow got this disc in the middle of the needle, and it start to and the disc start to spin like hella fast. And then I mean, I'm talking about according to description what I gave you, and you said it is Ravana, just by the way. And Ravana, like, you was not there for him. So it was maybe like, I'm just assuming, okay, because like, yeah, I don't like you, guy, but I just don't want to have problems with you. I mean, that was what was in your mind. I'm not saying it was, but I'm just saying. And they were making fun from that, and that pissed him off. Literally, like, very, like, that was bad, Jesus. and then you was tied up with a huge chain, and we've got video footage. You've got video. Sorry.
I was tied up with a huge chain by the shadow group.
Yep. It was like you was tied up, like your hands very tight to your body, your legs too, the same. It was very thick chain, it was crazy. And then, because we've got video footage from that, and once it was like, this being, as I said, just by the way, according the pictures and whatever as you described, I don't want to say my bad. We assume it was Ravana, and then there was another being, and that was maybe Shiva. He showed up few, and I can't say seconds, minute, because the time on the times, how can I call it, time stamp on the video was cracked. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got like hundreds of seconds, then it's first 2-3 seconds. Do you know what I mean? But this was some sort of distorted. It was manipulated, whatever. For us, it's completely normal. We know that this kind of stuff happened. So few moments after that, we assumed that this was Shiva appeared, and it was eye communication. I mean, sorry, I, not I as a me myself, but eye to eye, you with him. And then the video footage was on his head, and then on your body, I mean on you being sitting on the chair with no chains, nothing. It was very weird. So this is what we assume, that it was Shiva, just by the way.
Yeah. And he could just disintegrate it.
Yes. Just by the way, try to guess in which room we was seeing this. In the same room which sucked us to another reality. Jesus Christ.
The video, area 81 or archive 81.
Yes. Do you know what, Jessica? This is frustrating.
But you know that something, because I have the shadow group here, and we haven't really discussed the shadow group lately, because we've brought in a lot of information for those of you that haven't read through it. We also have time of recall, because while I was in that bubble reality, I was able to trace their activity throughout time, all the way to I think it was 5007.
Yes, you are right.
Yep. And then it kind of went back again to 2023. And
this is it. What I might kindly ask you to explain to our listeners or viewers or listeners, because as we can see, for normal, quote unquote, normal people, if I will be normal person, I will be like, what the heck is going on? This doesn't make any sense. So it will worth someone to describe and to say why this timeline, quote unquote, time-wise, doesn't make any sense. So please let us explain, okay?
Do you want me to do it?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So literally, it was opening up in this sequence, and it doesn't necessarily mean it happened. I have all of the data But these are the pieces that I could record and document what I was seeing was happening. I also saw that they had abilities that they didn't necessarily have to do a 20 and back kind of format. It seems like they had more flexibility to jump in and also had different agendas, which I'm still unclear about what their actual agenda was. So it starts here at July 2022. The shadow group stepped through the portal of Florida, and here we have that hurricane. Right around the time I was down there, I saw, as soon as I left, I saw that they were trying to create some kind of nuclear event, which I believe they did in a parallel somewhere, which was affecting us. But then the Council of Five jumped in, but it was supposed to be a bit more in our future, and then they shifted that timeline for us. After, in 1972, after the initial breach in the fabric of our context of existence, the shadow group used Western Florida to jump back into 1972. And I just want to say something about Hurricane Ian started. Usually the hurricanes come in and they go to the eastern part of Florida. From people that have lived there for a while, they've explained this to me because of it's kind of an anomaly when the weather patterns flip around and go around the other side or the western part, because it has to go inward, and in this case it actually went across the Florida in an unusual way. So here I saw them in western Florida where they jumped into, so that was another problem. Then they jumped to 1969 and started doing things over there. And then I saw them jump to 1952. And this is where it was another breach. They kept on creating these breaches during these time periods. So you think about all of the things that have happened, in the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, and the 80s. Then we go to 1942, which is right around the war, right? World War II. Then I saw them jump back to where the stock market had problems around 1929, and then they're bringing all this stuff back into our reality. And then I saw them. There was a breach in 1996. They were in Rome at the Tour de la Défense in Paris, France, and so they went to those two locations, created some kind of breach. And then they went to Finland in 2003. And then also at the same time in 2003, jumped over to Washington, D.C., Canada, Spain, and Brazil. And so trying to research and understand what these connections are and why they would create probably a network or a connection between these nations. 2022 here is in South Beach, Florida. That was the 9th breach. And in 2006, they went to Vero Beach in South Florida. And then went to 2033 in Naples, Florida. So they're using Florida, but remember, there's NASA is there in Florida. So it makes it easy for them to interconnect and link with the space programs. And here is 2041, so that's in our future. It's the 12th breach. And it's mid-central California. I could not see the actual region of where they went and what they were planning on doing. Then in 2051, it was the 13th breach, which is Stargate Russia. And then the 14th breach, 2063, was a lunar Stargate. I saw them going into a Stargate into the sun and then connecting through the Earth gateways. And you do see constant battles and different things happening with the sun over the past 20 years or so. In the year 3001, there was the 15th breach, which is Gobi Desert. And then it went from the desert, Gobi Desert, jump to Jupiter, the planet. In 3046, the 16th breach was Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Stargate to Sirius. And then there was a man-made island that I saw that they used as a substation, and I saw Lincoln Clay was there. And I think this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, but this might be the place where maybe Tyson came in, and maybe some of the others where he was going to Haiti.
Yes, you are right, but let I don't want to say explain. Let me fill in something. One thing, okay? The stuff is like you mentioned 1942, right? And we need to consider one very important thing. Philadelphia experiment. It was that time, just by the way.
Yeah, we looked
I'm
at
just
all
saying, okay? I'm just saying, okay?
No, excellent point, Peter, because down further here, we list all the different things that happened during these years. So 1982 was a Montauk project, but I'm going to get to that after I finish this timeline.
No, so sorry, I was just saying, okay?
Okay. And so in 3053, I saw the 17th breach was Abu Dhabi gateway to New France. They called it New France. A new planet arrives in our solar system named after Jules Verne, the traveler. That's what I saw. And then the year of 5007, there was a 19th breach gateway to, they called it New London region, to Cape Canaveral, collaboration with MI5, DARPA, and DOD. So they brought our reality, DARPA, MI5, and DOD into the future, way into the future over here. Related, they called it New London, but New London region, and then Cape Canaveral, so it was a jump gateway. And then came back again to 2023, where there's the entry of the Kingdom Malevolent Galactic Group, gateway to Sao Paulo, Brazil. And I think we were talking about something was going on in Brazil yesterday. Yes, someone told me they saw a weird leadership going on in Brazil, and there was no travel, only welcoming in the kingdom of a dark force that came in through there. And then back to 2023 over here, where I saw there was a 21st breach to Myanmar. From here, the dark forces were distributed to Mars, Jupiter, Pluto. They kind of used the planet Earth as a jumping point to go to these other planets, which we had successfully created as portals or places to jump from. So it's like we did all the work. The space programs did all the work of connecting all these planets, and then this dark group came in and was just started to use them. And they went to Pluto and the moon, and to further started to gain control of the galaxy. And so I think the Shadow Group was working with all these groups right here. And then 2051, they went to the 22nd breach was the Imperial Kingdom of the Ukraine, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, all the stands, like you had described.
Yeah, I call them stands because all of them are ending like stands. Do you know what I mean? Stand.
Yeah.
The name of the countries, yep. And they quote unquote add ones, and because they are calling it borrowing states areas, countries areas. They literally called it borrowing, and I was like, what? How you can borrow something? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Borrow something. I mean, give me a second. You can borrow thing, but not. Do you know what I mean? Not land. Do you know what I mean? Land of the country. What the heck? And they are calling it like that. Just by the way. Oh man.
So they have this. They call this one the Imperial Kingdom of the Ukraine. So I thought that was interesting because they weren't calling it Russia. So I don't know what happened there, or maybe I got wrong information, but anyhow, that was in 2051. So here's, if a person wants to take a look in all these different events that happened. 1972 is the Watergate scandal, Bloody Sunday, Bloody Friday, Yugoslavian smallpox outbreak, Pioneer 10, and the 1969 Vietnam War, Chicago 8 trial, Red Army faction. 1982 was a Montauk Project, and the ACO.
Give me a second. In 82, it was official. The Montauk project was officially closed or decommissioned, or I don't know how they calling it, because there are plenty ways how they are calling it, like simply stopped. What is absolute nonsense. It's nonsense, just by the way.
Yeah, it just went undercover at that point, right?
Yes, you are right. But just by the way, do you know what is crazy? Do you know what is crazy? Crazy thing is that there are jumps, like here and there and here, just by the way, from 82 to here, sorry, to here, to this year, 2022. I'm like, what? So they are using two steps.
Two steps.
Literally. But give me a second. Two steps back and forth. This is like, what? This, do you know what I mean? They are testing things.
Yeah.
They are testing things all over the place, and it is constantly destabilizing our reality. I don't know what's their deal. There, I'm talking about Shadow Group. I don't know what's their deal, but this will not gonna end well.
So this is where they brought in the black goo, right? Or it was already here, but they talk about it in the Falkland Wars as well.
Yeah.
It's 1952. This history that people can look at. World War II, 1942, Manhattan Project, Robert Oppenheimer. 1932, Hitler runs for presidency in Germany. The Ukrainian Holodomor, and January 28th incident. So we still have more information that has to be uploaded, but I did see I saw Tyson a few times on this. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of here.
Yes, you are right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And okay. There we go. And I apologize to our guests because we haven't let them speak very much, and I think we needed to put out information about the dangers of what's going on right now, and Peter needing to provide that information. But what I would like you to do, Peter, it's really important if you can share. The Team 374 has been instrumental in preventing a lot of things from happening up until this point. Yes. Can you share? Work with each one and share information?
Yes, the stuff is, or the main part of the problem is that we are still trying. First, there are bleed routes. A lot of bleed routes, as I said, if you believe, or let's say, if you think that we are in some sort of chaos, mayhem, and whatever, believe me, we are not. That reality, not reality, point of view, sorry, 1 2 3, this need to be edited. This another reality that has mayhem. Sorry, go ahead, Olaf.
Yeah, it's just a quick question because I talked to Tyson, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, because you are saying that you actually have real footage and records from these different missions and ongoing missions as well. involving the unit 374. So because as you know, we do have fragments of memories. We do see certain things, especially related to the 50s, the 60s. So we are very much jumping in and off. But for us, it's very important that you somehow can share some, like specific information connected to the missions. So that's very helpful if you can share something for us tonight. That's very much appreciated.
Yes, so the thing is, like, as I said, so many people there in the vantage point. As I said, all of you was doing coding, you Jessica was making contacts with, we are calling it alternative layer existence or alternative layer realities. I'm talking about astral beings and whatever, and there was close combat, for example, with Anthony, and shooting for Taino and whatever, just by the way. The stuff is, and of course there was Lincoln, just by the way, the same stuff. And the problem is that we were losing vantage points. And then we were like, what was going on? And then we got that shadow group somehow, in the first place, they started to decipher our information. And in the second place, either this or, sorry, that was vice versa. Sorry, my bad. They started to distort, so no radio communication or another type of communications. And then once they were ineffective of that, and they figured that somehow it was like 50-50, you know what I mean, or whatever, that it came through sometimes it didn't came, and whatever, screw that. They start to decipher information, but then you came to the scene, Olaf, and you deciphered their stuff. Their way of ciphering, and that is the reason why you are enemy number one for them. I don't want to say you as a person, but you are in the first line, like not most wanted for shadow group, for show house, for I don't know, for monarch. They don't like you, and this is literally, like, how can I say that? Those drop by drop, like bleed truths. It's literally, you've got Facebook, and there is like, what is it? Hate speech. If you want to say, nah, I don't like this, and you report that as a hate speech, I know I heard 90% Facebook, it has it like hate speech or fake news. I don't know if you wanna do, if you want to say your opinion about something. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. We need to say to start from very start. If you are using PayPal as a paygate, and you share some status PayPal don't like, or another part of Do you know what I mean of your paying? So let's say you will pay something or for something, or someone will pay you, and people will both of your sides. No, no, we don't like this. They will uh, give you 2.5 grand, 2,500 dollars penalty just for saying something or writing something, and not controversial, not nothing, but just I don't know. For example, I don't like according hurricane, for example, right? People are in need, infrastructure is badly damaged, and you will write, I don't like that FEMA is reacting slow or something like that, for example, right? So nothing controversial, nothing I don't know, like I don't understand why you are so supportive towards Ukraine. I don't think that this war in Ukraine is something bad, or I don't like US President Joe Biden. Nothing like that. Nothing controversial. But just for example, after the hurricane, you think that FEMA could react faster. For example, I'm not saying that this happened. I'm just saying, I'm just creating some sort of, making up some sort of crap. And people will consider is about something bad, bam, they will hit you 2,500, period. And you need to pay it. This is crazy, Jesus Christ. Then once they announced it, and people, it was massive. People don't like it. People don't like it, or didn't like it. But there is another problem. People say they will not do it, but they will not say that they will not do it now. But they never said that they will not do it in the future. Do you know what? This is crazy. This is bizarre. This is bizarre. And those are drops by drops problems. Do you know what I mean? Those are bleed truths from another realities. I'm just saying sorry for that, but do you know what I mean? Because those were controversies. They are like, I don't know, problems, like hitting, making quotes and quotes, creating heat on yourself by criticizing or saying controversial stuff or spreading, I don't know, conspiracy theories or whatever. But normal things, I don't know, I don't like gas prices. They are whatever, do you know what I mean? Or maybe just criticizing local PD, what I know that something like that happened, and people have problems in US on Facebook for criticizing local PD.
So, Peter, getting back to is this related to this bubble reality that you're talking about?
No, this is exactly what I'm saying.
But
those are bleed truths. Those are bleed truths. Do you know what I mean? And those people all around us here, they don't understand that, Jesus. Sorry, Tyson want to ask something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tyson.
All right. So, for example, Olaf, when he sees a specific choppers that are flying in series, like one up front, one to the parallel, a little bit like offset, and on and on. These are technically effects of bleed through coming from these corporation that we just mentioned.
Peter, you can answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I just because it was like a question addressed to Olaf or what? I don't know.
No, it's to you.
Oh,
it's
sorry. Yeah. So this is what I pinpoint, Peter. and I'm asking to you because all I've been sharing this, I've been seeing this. You talk about the Notor, and when you told the Notor was bleed through, I say yeah, because
Please,
every
sir, sorry, please let me correct it. It's not notor, it's notar. That means non-tail rotor. It's very specifically designed helicopters. They don't have second rotor. What give them ability to fly completely silent and undetectable, because notars are not only about that. They've got another important ability. They are completely invisible. They are using specific, very specific, high advanced mercury technology, quicksilver technology, and you can't see them. Like, no. And answering, just in order to answer your questions, you said few times, Tyson, that in this reality, notars were approaching you. I mean, not only you personally, but your location where you are living and whatever. Yes, this is another stuff. This is solidly true. And people, I don't know if they are so blindfolded or they don't believe or they don't have time to think or what. All of those are bleed truths, Jesus Christ.
But you also said that Tyson was working with the Medivac over in
just
that reality that you were in.
Yes, just by the way, because he got pilot course and pilot training, but that was the problem, because you know, uh, because Lincoln was hurt, and they don't. It looks like on purpose they gave you fake location, another vantage point, and he almost died. Man, Lincoln almost died. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Olaf has another question.
No, I didn't have any question right now.
I saw that your hand was.
When but I can just fill in, because when Peter talked about PayPal, it's kind of interesting because I do receive several messages from PayPal. They do sometimes tell me that your account is for the moment blocked, or certain problems, technical problems.
Yes, they can block your account for 6 months. They can block your account for 6 months.
For no reason.
For let's say they've got the reason, but they will not tell. They will not tell. Or let's say you write a form or an email or whatever, and the explanation absolutely doesn't make any reasonable sense. It's like they are not reasonable.
Exactly.
It's like they are liars. They are liars, and do you know what I mean? It's a spiral of lying and saying absolute yeses, and you are like, what? And when you call them, just by the way, most times once you are living outside US or maybe Canada, they don't want to talk about, they don't want even to bother to talk about, to talk with you. Either you can, despite, my bad, despite you can fluently speak English. They simply don't want to, they see, once they not see like English or, my bad, US, American or Canadian number, but mostly like 80-90% American, they don't care. Really, literally. And I'm talking about people, they are, for example, streamers, they are doing good stuff like, DIY, do it yourself videos, not total bullshit stuff like literally shitty crap, literally like influencers, but something with added value. What can make, do you know what I mean? Like repair, restore stuff, or travel, or food, vlogs, videos, whatever. And most of them are using PayPal, and sometimes PayPal simply decide to block their accounts for either 1 or 3 or even 6 months. For, I don't want to say no particular reason, but their reasons are absolutely doesn't make any sense. And they've got plenty, I mean, believe me, plenty of hella money on their accounts. It's
Okay, so yeah, let's move on from this topic.
no, Jessica, but those are breakthroughs, and people don't understand that. And I will say that this PayPal, let's say PayPal example is good because so many people all around the world know PayPal, and many people use it. And this is solid breakthrough because this experience are, I mean, sorry, this problem is experiencing more and more and more and more people all around the world, just by the way.
The bleed throughs that are affecting people's income and livelihood and the way that they exist. And so, yeah, that's been a consistent attack.
Yes, because this is it. Once we will be talking about, for example, NSFW content, do you know what I mean? Screw you. I'm not saying you, but do you know what I mean?
A lot of these companies, like say, they also own Venmo and some of these other companies too. So it's almost like they've monopolized any type of transactions altogether. So yeah, it's a bleed through. There's a bleed through. It's a bad one. I think, was it Tyson that you want to say something?
Oh, it was only a comment. When Peter mentioned what happened to Lynn Cole, right? I get now why probably I had that, what's it called, intuition to know how he was, because I've seen Peter confirm it. I think you said it, but yeah, I was there to evacuate him. Am I wrong on this?
Yes, just by the way, I want to say that they almost shot you to death because you was completely silent in the previous part, and they were like, you are just stupid idiot, and they start to say blah blah blah, and then you was very reasonable, you said this and that, and everything makes sense. And they were like, do you know what, shoot this earth, shoot this fucker, and he was like smiling, okay. When you've got another pilot in like few hundreds of miles around, then shoot me, kill me. And that was the only one reason why you are still alive. Jesus Christ, they were crazy, they were insane, Jesus Christ.
I saw Tyson step into, I didn't have a chance to tell you, Tyson. When I was driving somewhere, I was traveling, and a guy came out, and I could actually saw like astrally him coming through into the space. Yeah, it was pretty wild how that we're connecting, and things are happening around us that are synchronicities, and showing that we're kind of aware of different things that are happening. And recently, Olaf was on Tyson's show, or Taino's show, and talking about some of the synchronicities or recalls that they have which is, we're going to post that here so people can listen to it. And it was a very interesting information. I'd like to bring in Michael, because Michael's been, in the background a little bit, but he's been a part of this as well. If you can share some information about.
So I just want to say that that's all from my side today, because there is pretty much nothing more what I can share right now, to be perfectly honest with you.
We're still involved, but you can share something with Michael, right, about his involvement?
No, but I'm just saying that I need to go in the first place, but in the second place there is ongoing investigation, and I can't say anything more. That's the problem, because as it is in drill, those lips are sealed. They are calling it, those lips are sealed. Jesus Christ.
So was Michael there when the whole helicopter event happened, or was Lincoln Clay?
Yes. I'm just saying, okay, guys, so maybe in the next show, okay? Hold time, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, so what I'll do is we'll close out with everyone and we can provide ideas. Thank you for joining us, Peter, today. We appreciate it. Have a good day. All right, so does anyone else would like to share some of their ideas? Michael?
I think that does it for me, basically. This information has been rather interesting, very helpful, and hopefully Peter is able to provide more information details on our missions in the next show, or next time he shows up.
Yeah, I think as it's been going on, he's able to provide a little bit of information, and then it gets to a point where it could compromise something else that's ongoing. We're clearly not out of harm's way right now. We still have issues with bleed-throughs, which we discussed today, as well as more activity with this bubble reality that the shadow group created, so they are not out of the way, and ongoing information regarding this place with the pineapple reality. Okay, so Olaf, you want to share something?
Yeah, I believe Tyson was.
Oh, okay, Tyson, you can go
me,
first. Yeah, it's either one is fine.
Are we still on recording?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so
just finishing up some last thoughts and.
All right, no, this is to share to Michael, Peter, and you, Jessica. You and Peter talk about it a couple months ago, recently, but I've seen online how there's a lot of to the place where you might go, Michael. I don't want to say it, but you might. I believe you're gonna go to a place, right, for specific things. And I saw online a lot of Android women from that particular place. That place that have 5 letters. So I don't know if it's safe, Jessica. I don't want to mention that location. But yeah, I was like, oh shit. So
It's an interesting topic for sure.
yeah.
We can definitely talk about it more later on, but it's definitely like a big issue that we're having.
So it's easy to say that we're all on ongoing missions right now and working in different areas, and apparently I had that really strange dream this morning that I knew that I was with a group of people and not feeling really comfortable about it. So in that, it looked like an all-terrain bus type of vehicle, and finding out that I was in this bubble reality makes a lot of sense to me of what's been happening. And I was in Florida before the hurricane hit, not exactly close to that time, but maybe a month before or so. All right, so Olaf, go ahead and share.
Yeah, I'm constantly thinking about my own dreams and recalls. I think I should be more active, when it comes to write it down, because if I don't write it down, I easily forget. In a few seconds, they're all gone. So I think
Yeah.
we should, as a group, especially because we are in the same unit, we should share, use a platform to share our dreams and recalls. Sometimes they seems to be like ridiculous, but could very much be related to the mission, and so that's yeah. I think we should be more active to share with each other, so we can compare and let Peter as well come in and look at it. Confirmation. And I'm always searching for more specific information, of course. I understand many of these missions are very, very classified, and I also understand that we do confront we have to. It's a fact that they do these mind memory wiping, so it's difficult, it's challenging.
Yeah, you have to actually have a journal right next to you and write these things down, because it does help to provide recall for some of the things that you've been involved in. And then when Peter starts talking about these things, then it starts to click that you knew that you were someplace. And it sounds like the part of the description of what he was saying. I even have people from the public that, like they're listening, and then they contact me about something related to something that Peter talked about, because this is a selected team, Unit 374, but there are also others that are involved in the peripheral, and maybe some are related to Kruger, which Kruger is still active and assisting Unit 374 as well. So all of this information is very interesting. But yeah, we can only disclose what we're safe to disclose without compromising the mission. So you have to be careful. And just even going to the wrong place, like we did with Montauk, Peter's upset because it could have breached some of the missions that were going on. But at the same time, whatever the shadow group is doing and creating these bleed throughs in our reality and making life difficult for people, we hope that we can resolve that without, so we will just incrementally provide information when it's safe to do so with the group. So if anyone has any last thoughts, and we'll wrap this show up for today.
Yeah, Jessica, the timeline that you shared was very interesting. Very interesting, and two things popped me out when you mentioned Tour de la Défense in France, because you shared to me what you saw when you weren't over there, Arche de la Défense, and the thing in Haiti as well. So
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's pretty.
bring that up really quick, because it is a very unusual looking place, and everyone talks about some of the Paris sites, but this is not usually included, and I don't know why. It's really futuristic. It's very weird looking. And let's see. Let's do a shared screen. And you see the buildings. But what's really interesting is, where is it? It kind of opens up like, that's the Arc de Triomphe. So it doesn't look like that. It looks like this big, huge cube. It's really odd looking. Here it is. And the first time I saw this, we accidentally went there. We were just taking the
Sorry,
subway.
Jessica. I
Yeah.
think you have a better photo up. Yeah. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
You come out of the train station right around here, and we accidentally came here and we stepped out and we're like, what is this? You know, what is this? Look at this. I mean,
Yes,
this
I've
is
been there
obviously
several
America.
times. It's amazing. It's an amazing place. That's for sure.
It doesn't make any sense what it is. And people sit on the inside in this area right here. And so you're stepping out and you're looking at, I mean, it's large. It's really, really big. But there's also all these like black buildings and very odd shapes. And there was like even a hand that comes up. And I knew immediately that there was a bunch of was it Dracos that were using that as a jump space. And you know, you could see everything it just looks futuristic. It doesn't look like anything that I've seen in my travels. Other than like if you go to Kuwait or some of those areas where there's kind of futuristic looking things. But yeah, maybe we can, you know, talk to Peter further about that location. But that was one of the places where the shadow group was using to bleed through, and it's very complex to find out what they've been doing, how they've been doing it. Even Peter said the jump patterns is different than what usually when people are doing time travel, they go back, they go forward. You know, it's a certain process, and they seem to be defying that and doing it in a way that is unconventional. So even though they come off as elite human soldiers, they obviously have other abilities and connections. But so anyhow, I think that's it for today. I want to thank each one of you individually. Thank you for your patience, because we started off getting into discussions between Peter and I, and it wasn't my intention. I wanted to make sure everyone had more time to speak, but it didn't work out that way. So I apologize, and thank you for your time today. I'm going to thank each one individually for being here. Olaf, Michael, Tyson, you know, we appreciate all that you're doing in the ongoing missions. Ask for people to support what we're doing here to help the planet, and as we do, continue to support one another.
Thank
So
you,
everyone,
sorry. Thanks for having us on your show.
you're welcome,
Yeah,
Michael.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you, Olaf.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Tyson. Thanks also for spreading the information that needs to go out to the public. So we're moving forward, and we thank you for your support, and continually check in with us. If subscribe, make sure that you don't miss anything. If you're having trouble getting messages of when the show's coming on, let us know, or just try to connect again or resubscribe again, whatever you need to do, so you can be informed in the future. Everyone, have a good day. Stay strong, vigilant, and we continue on in our missions. And so you will be there with us. Have a good day.
You have been listening to the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Marrocco. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit www.acio-agency.org and www.readingsbyarael.com. Post your questions and comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to support our work. All the links can be found in the description. Thank you.